All right, so here we have the headliner for the Jaguar. We got to pull the fabric off all the way. See, it's all coming off anyhow. Once we do that, we got to peel all the foam off of it, and then we'll be able to get a clean surface to put our adhesive on and put our new headliner on. So let's get started. All right, now we got all this fabric off. It's not reusable or anything, so that's just going to get thrown away. Now what we have to do, you look, there's a really thick foam on here, but it's all falling apart. And that's exactly what makes headliners droop. It's not the adhesive coming off, but this foam starts to break down and no longer can cling to the backer board. So we have to clean all that old foam off, and the new upholstery should have foam on it already when we go to adhere it to the backer board. So let's get this cleaned off best we can. Probably use a wire brush or a drill with a brush attachment on it and see if we can get it cleaned up good enough to put new stuff on there. So here we go. Since I don't have a wire brush on hand and I don't have a brush attachment for my drill at the moment, I'll probably have to get one tomorrow. What I want to start trying to use is actually a sticker scraper. But the sticker scraper, I've taken the razor blade out of it, and we're just going to be using the attachment in, see what that does, because it was all coming off by finger when I was messing with it a minute ago. So we'll see how that does. That works pretty well. Need something to clean it with. So it doesn't look like it's actually removing much, it's just making it blister up here. So I'll probably have to find some other way to scrape it off once I'm done. I might actually have to use a razor blade. So I'm going to go ahead and put a razor blade in it because it just seems like it's making it cake up and it's not actually getting it off. And we'll see if we can put a razor blade on it without gouging the foam padding or the cardboard back or any. All right, razor blade's installed. Let's see what we can do. Well, the razor blade's not installed right. Let's do it right so we don't hurt ourselves. All right. All right. I'm going to stop that immediately because it wants to gouge that backer right away. We don't want to do that. So, not sure what we're going to do. We may have to hold off till we can get the wire brush. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to hold off until we can get a wire brush so we can do this correctly without messing up the Jaguar too much. So I'll be back. All right. We've got the wire brush from Harbor Freight. I went ahead and spot tested on this and it looks like it's going to work great. So we're going to go ahead and put it in our drill and get started. Let's see if we can get this cleaned up. All right, so it looks like the drill attachment is doing absolutely wonderful at cleaning off the surface that was untouched. Everything that's been touched by the scraper, unfortunately, seems to have gummed up really heavily, and the wire brush does not like to remove it. So we'll probably have to use something like a petroleum distillant or something like that to break down the glue first and then try to eat it up. We'll get a close-up to show you what I'm talking about. You can see here how the wire brush has eaten the glue away cleanly until you get to the area that was scraped. Then we try to eat it up and it just turns into this goop. Here's some more area over here where we used the wire brush first and it took the glue right off. More scraped area, it did not. And right below here. So we're going to try additive, see if we can break down this glue first and then try to eat away at it again. Alright, so we got a couple things going on now. We are going to go ahead and continue using the stripping wheel to get the rest of the glue off the headboard. The reason for this, we decided not to use petroleum distillants because it's possible that once we're done, once we spray this down and get all the glue off, that distillant's still going to be soaked into the headboard, and we don't want it to affect any glue that we put down afterwards and possibly cause adhesion issues. So we're going to go ahead and just strip it manually, no matter how much hard work it takes. Got to get this out of here in the next 2 days, get the garage clean, because we got 2 more cars coming in, so we can get them fixed and sold. So let's go ahead and get this stripped down and start there. Anyone looking at tackling your own headliner, take it from me, do not try to scrape the glue using a razor blade. And if it ends up like this, you may have issues, and it's going to take a lot longer to get clean. We're still working on it, and it's going to probably take us another hour at this rate. So we went ahead and we got most of the bulk material knocked down using the drill and wire brush. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of sticky surface that just is not coming off with the wire brush. It's just kind of smearing it around. But we got all the padding off. So we're going to try to get some maybe warm water and some soap. See if we can rub this down to where we at least have a surface we can work with. And that'll be next. Went ahead and I rubbed the entire surface of this with a rag to try to get off all the clumps. Unfortunately, there's still a lot on here. The rag sticks and I'm really worried. I'm afraid all the raised areas of the glue, any of the little clumps are going to show through when we transfer the new fabric on. I'm hoping that the padding that's applied to the fabric will go ahead and absorb some of that and it'll come out nice and smooth. So to test fit the fabric and cut it to size, I'm going to do it on the clean side first, just so it doesn't stick to this while I'm trying to cut and fit. So we'll go ahead and get started with that now and see how it works out. Now it's been a few days since I recorded last, but now I'm in a hurry because the Jaguar has to get finished today, and I'm hoping I can get this applied on my lunch break and get it to dry so I can throw it in the Jaguar tonight so we can move it for the new car that's coming in. So let's get started and see what we can do. And there are glue clumps all over my garage. They're on my counter here. They're all over every piece of equipment. They're going to get on my shoes as I walk. And if you're curious, all those rivets that I spilled from doing the rear deck screen, they're still all over the floor. I haven't picked them up. So let's get back to work. My hands are even sticky. You can see the brown clumpiness on them. It's gross. Here's the rag I used. You can see the clumps all over it. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Now this fabric came from Amazon, so I'm just now looking at it for the first time. The color is pretty close. You can see the padding is applied to the back side. I'm hoping it fits. Oh. What? It's got some glue stuck to it. I'll figure that out in a minute. I guess I gotta figure it out now. The padding is just ripping. Luckily, it's just the trim ends that I'm gonna end up cutting off anyhow. Now, when you cut this, you want a little overhang on the front and side, front, rear, and sides, because it's going to get glued to the back side of your... What in the world? This is padding is terrible, and it's got some seam, not seams, but it's got some creases that we're going to have to iron out. It's already getting old glue stuck to it. I got this old plastic chandelier hanging in here and it's breaking every time I hit it. We got plenty of fabric. It's great. Now I want to lay it out so the seam, not the seams, but the creases aren't a straight line, just in case they do show any after I iron it. Now we're not going to cut out any of the holes yet. We're only going to cut out the outside perimeter. Once it's adhered, we'll cut out the holes and then get them pressed in. Right now we just want to get a rough shape with an inch or two around the sides. Now fabric work, I always recommend getting a really good pair of scissors. I trust my Gingers. They're relatively expensive though, and I couldn't find them this morning. So right now, I'm using a pair of up and up scissors from Target. It's actually in my school supplies box, and they're actually working relatively well. Okay, so I went ahead and cut around the entire perimeter. I left it with like an extra inch or two around the entire sides because since I'm cutting on the back side, the crown of the headliner isn't quite the same. So I wanted to make sure I had enough fabric to compensate for that in case it uses more going over that crown. So we'll flip it over and we'll start test fitting, see how it's going to look, and then we'll start to glue. When I glue, I'm going to start from the center and press out. And we'll let it dry in stages and see if we can get it looking good. But let me go ahead and get it ironed first. If you're like me, you do not have a shred of empty flat surfaces in your home. They're all covered with garbage. So we're going to utilize the top of this washing machine as our flat surface. Now, when ironing, always put something below and then cover the surface you're ironing so you're not transferring anything from your iron to the fabric itself to keep it as clean as possible, unlike some people who get brown glue on theirs. Now, you can see the heavy creasing in this fabric. We want to get it flat as possible and get rid of that crease. Now, I had a towel somewhere. Somewhere over the rainbow. We'll be back after this short message from our sponsor. All right, so we're going to have to do this in small sections since our surface is so small. Now I have my iron set with steam and for rayon fabric. This is just an old $15 Kmart iron, if anybody remembers Kmart. May have to pump up the heat. You can see that crease is starting to come out there. One thing you have to think about is if you get too hot or if it gets too wet, the padding on the back side is adhered with just glue. All right, so you don't want that glue to get too wet, or you do risk potential releasing of the adhesive agents. This might take a while. So I'll get this all ironed out and we'll cut to when I'm done and you can see what it looks like. We're back in the garage and we got the fabric ironed out for the headline. What I'm worried about is the fact that when we flip this over for the fitment, that we're gonna have a crown where the arc of the headliner is, and it might make our fabric too short. I didn't really calculate for that, but I did add some extra overhang, hoping that would compensate. Second, I'm worried about all the leftover glue that I could not get off the headliner. It does have waves, it has a little bit of bumpiness to it, and I'm afraid that's gonna show through when we're done with the headliner. We just have to cross our fingers and hope that the padding recesses enough and levels itself out. We got this cool little seam roller here that we're gonna use to press it down when we put the glue on. Let me show you the glue real quick. My hardware store does not have headliner adhesive. So what I have is the 3M Super 77. This is multi-purpose adhesive. It is commercial grade, dries quickly and clear. We're going to go ahead and tack it in the middle, get this pressed on in the middle of the headliner and press out from the middle after it's dried. And we're going to go ahead and check it out and see if we get this headliner on without screwing it up too bad. So here we go. So the only thing I don't like about this glue is that it goes on almost clear, so you cannot actually see your coverage area. So I'll just keep going over everything until I feel like I have it. Now I want to get more in these little recessed areas, because when I got over there, when I did a light coat, it's really hard to press the fabric into the recesses and have it stay, so it's not forming correctly. And I'm afraid that's gonna be a problem later, but right now I just want to get a headliner on here and see if we can get it looking good. Unfortunately, the little detail areas like that, looks like I'm having bubbles on this side already. That could be a problem. I'm gonna try to heat it up later and see if I can press them in. But we're just gonna wait for this to get tacky, which this gets tacky really quick. The Super 77, about 30 seconds, it's tacky. Dry time's about 13 minutes. So it gives us time to work with it. But I want this stuff in the recesses to get really tacky so it'll hold. This is one of the recesses right here. The fabric stretches a little bit, but it's just not going to hold, so I'm not sure how we're going to work those out later. This roller is doing worlds of good. Okay, this is the other recess area here. Now the small details, those are working out fine. Like this ridge right here. Alright, so we're going to let this dry overnight, and then we'll revisit it tomorrow and see what we can work out, the creases and all that good stuff. So I'll see you then.